This story begins on a bright and sunny day in Los Angeles, California, where a woman named Leah arrived at her hotel. Like most others, she was excited about her trip. She had her luggage, checked in at the front desk. The agent kindly pointed her to her room. She went up the escalator, walked down the hallway, and entered her room. But Leah would never be seen again. After not arriving to her event, a welfare check had been called in. The hotel rest assured they would check on Miss Leah. Housekeeping had been sent to the room. But when they entered the room, they found nothing. No one had been in that room. All the beds intact, towels in place. How can this be? She was seen entering the room on CCTV, but never left. Could she have left through a window? Or had there been a secret wall? Somehow, Leah had vanished. So local police investigated the scene and called Detective Jennifer Smith. It informed her that Leah had walked into the hotel, checked in, but never left. She was nowhere to be found.
I just remember receiving the call, thinking, if this is true, this is impossible. There's gotta be some sort of explanation for this. I mean, people just don't vanish from inside a hotel room.
Arriving on the scene, first they must examine the room. Look for any clues to see if any locks or windows had been tampered with. After a close look inside the room, the next place they turn to is the hotel staff.
I spoke to the hotel manager to see what information I could get out of them. He let me know what time she had checked in and that she was there for some sort of conference.
Next, Detective Jennifer Smith interviews housekeeping staff who may have seen anything out of the ordinary.
I've been working here for 3 years now. I remember seeing her, nicely dressed, pretty woman. She was going up the escalator when I saw another lady seemed to be following her. I remembered the escalator was down. She had to walk up the stairs.
After speaking with Antonio, I ruled him out right away. But he mentioned a lady that had been following her and that she had a red dress on. That was worth looking into. The front desk manager also informed me that it was a fashion show conference that she was in town attending. So I knew our next stop for investigation was going to be down the runway. I caught up with the show director backstage to ask him some questions. Once I got a chance to sit down with Drew, I explained to him that Leah had checked into her hotel but since then she had gone missing, and to see if he knew anything about her whereabouts.
Yes, Leah is a good friend of mine. I've known her for quite some time now. She was supposed to come and bring the new designs for next year's fashion show. To be released today, actually. She didn't show up, so I called, but there was no answer.
Then I asked him about the lady in the red dress, who was actually reported following her up to her room.
That sounds like Tiffany. I asked her to make sure that she checks in fine and that she brings next year's designs. Those files are worth millions.
Then I remembered the head housekeeper telling me about a new employee named Tiffany. She had recently started and was not there the day we interviewed everybody.
Investigators thought they should look into Tiffany, as she looked very similar to the woman in the red dress. Tiffany had also been the housekeeper to go check on Leah and inform that she was not in the room.
When I spoke to Tiffany, she had a whole different story. She claimed Leah took the elevator, not the escalator. And she said she met a guy and a bunch of people outside of her room. Her story didn't add up. She did say that she was asked to make sure that she made it to her room. She didn't think anything was wrong until she had to go do a wellness check that day.
After speaking with Tiffany, investigators look into the hotel door key readers. The key readers read each key that opened the door and gives a time and date. They determined that once Leah used her key to open the door, the day she checked in, room service entered the room early that morning, and the only other key that was used 2 days later was when Tiffany opened the door. There was one problem. The key reader showed Tiffany open the door twice that day. Once 2 hours before the wellness check, and then to do the wellness check.
After seeing the card reader information, I was beginning to piece together in my head what had happened. But I needed to speak to the waiter who delivered Leah's breakfast that morning after she had arrived.
I do remember that morning. Everything started off normal. I picked up her breakfast, and right before I got to her room, the housekeeper, Tiffany, she stopped me and said that there was supposed to have been a breakfast shake on the order, and she put it on the tray to be delivered. I thought it was odd, a housekeeper to run a drink up to me, but I delivered it anyway.
Following my gut instincts, I decided to search the hotel laundry room. I thought if someone did abduct Leah, maybe her clothes would end up there. And sure enough, I did find her brown coat in a basket tucked away and hiding.
Now, investigators had enough to bring Tiffany in for questioning. She was picked up and brought down to the Los Angeles police station for questioning.
I could tell she knew what we knew, but I needed more details. Once I told her we had enough evidence to convict her, we just needed to fill in the blanks. She sang like a canary. She said that this was all Leah's idea. She stated that Leah was going to steal next year's fashion ideas for herself and sell them to the highest bidder. She offered Tiffany a small cut if she were to go get a job at the hotel and help her disappear. She was still waiting for her payment.
She told investigators that she went into the room 2 hours earlier and Leah hid under the cart. She then rolled her down to the laundry room and Leah escaped out the back door. Then it was showtime. Tiffany went back into the room where Leah had stayed and slept for 2 days. She remade the bed, placed new towels, and made it look like no one ever stepped foot into that room. Now that Tiffany had been offered a plea deal to give up the location of Leah, investigators now knew Leah was staying at a beachfront resort in Long Beach, California. That next morning, police showed up to the resort to arrest Leah. She had a buyer for the fashion designs all lined up, and they had met to celebrate. Police did collect the fashion designs and arrested Leah and the buyer.
It's crazy to think at the beginning of this investigation, we were looking for a victim, and she ended up being the perpetrator. In my years of being a detective, I've definitely learned you cannot judge a book by its cover.